Hello, today is December 13th, 2013, and I have officially been on testosterone for 4 months and 1 day. I'm also officially being pestered by a cat. Excuse me. Say hi, Maggie. Maggie's gonna go away now. Or not. So, normally when I give these updates, I just do sort of a rambling life update, and there's never really so much rhyme or reason to it. But today, on this update, I do have a couple things that I want to address. They're both questions that I received through my Tumblr account, and I want to just kind of touch on those a little bit. First, I'm going to put the cat down. Okay, so this first question I received is from an anonymous user on Tumblr who says, "Why this seems hard for your family. Why couldn't you have just come out as a lesbian and left it at that?" First of all, I want to thank you for your question. I really appreciate that you are engaged and wanting to know more. But I want to kind of address a couple different things with this. First, I would say if you have questions like that in the future, or for other trans people that are not me, that are not activist oriented and education oriented, because questions like that can seem transphobic, like it's making being transgender out to be more evil than being gay, or that it makes being lesbian the lesser of two evils, and that's just not the case. Some people are just lesbian, and some people are just transgender, and some people are just both. None of that's bad, though. But I do want to say that you're right. This is not easy for my family. It's actually pretty hard for my family, and for some people in my family, it was so hard that they decided to walk away and have nothing to do with me anymore. And that's not easy for anybody. But yeah, it's hard. I've been on testosterone for 4 months now, which means that I came out to my parents I came out to my family in probably June or July, which means that the people I love most in this world have known me as a primarily estrogen-based being for 29 and a half years. And for them to all of a sudden have to change the way they relate to me and the pronouns they use and the name they use, that's not an easy thing. My parents are struggling with the right name and the right pronouns, and God knows if one of my brothers will ever speak to me again. And the other one doesn't really talk all that much, but he seems mostly okay with it, I guess. Yeah. But they're trying, and it's trying is kind of implies that you're going to fail sometimes. You're going to mess up. And that's when I have grace for them, because it's a habit at this point. I mean, they've had 29 and a half years of referring to me with old pronouns and old names, and it's a transition for them too. Because this isn't just my thing, although it is very much my thing. Being transgender isn't something that happens in a vacuum. The rest of the world has to relate to you in a totally different way than what they knew before. And I've been really lucky. I've got an amazing employer. I've got phenomenal clients. I have friends that were open and accepting right away, and some that even knew before I did, but had the patience to let me figure it out for myself. But yeah, it's difficult for my family, and it can't be easy on them. But why does that mean that I couldn't just let it go at being a lesbian? Well, that's a different story. Because I had never openly claimed being a lesbian. I don't identify as a lesbian, never have. I think at best what I identified with as being pansexual. But this kind of breaks down into two different categories or subsections of an answer to that half of the question, in that gender identity and sexual orientation are completely different things. Gender identity is who you are in your head. It's how your self views yourself in the world. It's how your brain tells you to interact with the world and how you should be viewed in the world. It is the true self of your being. It's more than your body. And when those things don't match, when your brain is telling you that you should be different than your body, it gets a little complicated. So your brain is who you are. And sexual orientation that's who in the world your body responds to. It's who sexually excites you. It's who you want to have physical intimate relationships with. And so your brain telling you who you are is totally different than your genitals telling you who to be with or who or what excites you. So could I be in a relationship with a woman, or could I have been in a relationship with a woman before? Completely, yeah. And at the time, it would have been considered a lesbian relationship because I was a female-bodied person presenting as a woman in a relationship with another woman. But as soon as I really figured out what was going on and who I am in the world and why these signals between my brain and body weren't matching up, and I realized that I am a man, if I then get in a relationship with a woman, I can't say that I'm a lesbian. Because one of the defining characteristics of being a lesbian is identifying as a woman. Yeah, I've got female genitalia. Probably always will. I don't want bottom surgery. That's just not for me. But simply having a penis doesn't make somebody a man. And having a vagina doesn't necessarily make somebody a woman. So as a man, can I identify as a lesbian and leave it at that? No. Because identifying as a lesbian, like I said, requires that you view yourself as a woman, and I don't. My brain is telling me I'm a man. And yeah, my body tells me that I like girls, but that doesn't make me a lesbian. And so doing that would be unfair to a partner, because that would be misrepresenting myself. It would also be misrepresenting where I want to be in life, and it would just be a lie. And I've lived a lie, and it's not fun for anyone. And if I'm in a position where I have to lie to myself about who I am and lie to the rest of the world, that puts me back at square one. So I'd rather just be transgender and do this process, which is difficult for everyone, and go on from there and live a happy and fulfilling life. So that's that answer. The other answer I have for you comes from another anonymous user on Tumblr who says, "Thank you for your videos. I find them very informative and I like to know what's going on in your life. Can you please tell me what are some of the most recent changes that are going on and what you are looking forward to in the future?" Well, so basically you're asking for a normal video, I guess. Recently, the biggest changes that have been happening is my facial hair growth has really sped up, and I've kind of got a goatee going on. You can see it right there. And I'm starting, if I don't shave, I get these mutton chops that stop about here. And then I've got like this gap where there's nothing. So, the facial hair is really starting to come in. And I can rock a pretty good goatee so far. I haven't shaved in 3 or 4 days, and it's actually really scruffy and starting to get thick. And one of my nieces pointed out the other day that half of my facial hair is coming in red, and the other half is coming in brown and black. So that's interesting. What else? Yeah, I've talked about in the past body hair starting to come in thicker and darker, and I'm kind of at the point where I'm starting to think about investing in Nair because my belly is starting to get covered in hair and I really don't like it. There's that. What am I looking forward to next? I don't know. I honestly don't know. Like, the bulk of the changes that I think are going to happen have already started happening, so I'm not sure that there's anything new going to happen. I think it's just going to be more of the current changes. in a in new and larger amounts, I guess. Um, so yeah, there's that. And there's a third question I wanted to talk about, which was a question from a friend of mine at work who asked to remain nameless, but did want me to talk about this in my video blog. Uh, and it's about the holidays. And she asked me how I feel about the holidays coming up and what that's going to be like for my family, being that this is the first year that I am public about being a trans man. And that is also another really important question. And the answer is, I don't know how I feel about it. I do, but I don't. I'm a little scared, actually. Um, Somebody in my family has refused to let their children have anything to do with me, and I don't know if they're going to be there. And if they are going to be there, I don't know how I will respond if their children misname or misgender me, or if they misname or misgender me. And I know it's going to be difficult for everybody there using the right name and the right pronouns, and I'm feeling apprehensive about it. But I love them, and they love me, and I'm sure we'll get over it. I am expecting that there may be some adult beverages consumed, either on my part or their part, to make it just a little bit more socially fluid of an event. But in the end, really, what matters for me is that I get to spend some time with the people I love the most and appreciate their presence. And if worse comes to worse, I've got a car, and I can say my hellos and give my hugs and kisses, and if it gets bad, I will gracefully bow out and let them enjoy their day, because I don't want to be the person making anybody uncomfortable, especially on such an important day. So that's all I've got for today. This video has been far too long, I think. If you're still watching, thank you. Please don't hesitate to submit your own questions either on my Tumblr or here on YouTube, or you could send me questions in Google+. I'm on Facebook. Find me, talk to me, help me help you understand what's going on in my life and in my transition. Thanks. Merry Christmas. Have a great day.